All right, everyone's gearing up to get on the formation lap to try to warm up their tires before the start for the Italian Grand Prix. And the Williams did not get a great start for the formation lap, so he's a bit further back. The Williams and Racing Point. Oh no, the Racing Point has hit the barrier, and he has already hit the barrier. And on the first lap, well, even before the first lap has even begun, as he got hit by the Williams of, I think that was Yaragos. And he hit the barrier, so he will not be able to warm up his tires on this race. And that's very unfortunate for him, but everyone else still in this race, still on the formation lap to warm up their tires in a last chance bit to warm them up as the Red Bull goes completely wide and kicks up a load of dust and probably knocked a load of good off that car, so he needs to be careful and shake all that gravel out of the car as they go through Ascari now, going through down the straight towards Parabolica to start this race. They're all lined up. 27 laps ahead of us. It's the Italian Grand Prix. We go to 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. The Williams gets great start. He's already side by side with the Racing Point and already passed the Racing Point, and now side by side with the Ferrari going into turn 1. FSR TikTok is under pressure from Yaragos. He got passed by Yaragos as there's a Haas off, and that's number 14. That's Alfie, who has gone off the track at turn 1. He got quite pushed off the track, quite literally, and he made a little bit of contact with the Racing Point as well. What a wild start we have here in Monza as the Racing Point is trying to close up to FSR TikTok after he got overtaken by 2 cars. Going into turn 1, there's a little bit of contact up ahead, and there's an Alfa Romeo that's gone off the track. So quite unfortunate for him as he's picked up damage as the Racing Point and McLaren are side by side now going through the Lesmos. I think now that the McLaren is fully passed, and yes he is, we ride on board with the Haas going down towards the Ascari, plunging down towards the Ascari. The Racing Point may be having a look at the Alfa Romeo just in front of him. And yes, he is having a bit of a look, but I don't know if he's close enough, and I don't think he is. But at the end of the first lap, it's Jack that still leads from pole to first place. At the end of the first lap, and Yaragos is in second place. FSR TikTok, after a great start, is in third now. Down the straight they go towards Parabolica, and it's side by side between the McLaren and Haas, and the Haas is on the inside, and he swings past the McLaren. That looked like a decently easy overtake for him, so no sweat for him, as there's a car into the pits, and that looks like a Racing Point, so he must have picked up damage on the first lap, so he will be dropping back positions and probably hoping for a safety car later on in this race, as the Ferrari and Williams are going side by side. So the Racing Point will probably be hoping for a safety car to close him back up to the leaders, as this is a great battle as he's really closing up to him, and it's side by side between the Ferrari and the Williams down towards the chicane. They're side by side, and he just gets all out of shape, just the Ferrari, but he's still on the back of him. FSR TikTok is really putting on the pressure, and he's right up the gearbox of Yaragos, and Yaragos is blocking him every which way he tries to go. So there's almost no way for him to get past this. There's a car off, and that's the McLaren out, and there's a virtual safety car, and there's a car that has crashed there, and it is burning flame, and he has hit the barrier in the Ferrari for his debut for Ferrari in the home race. Here's the onboard from the Ferrari going through the first Lesmo. Goes a bit wide onto the grass, onto the gravel, spins it around and hits the Tech Pro barrier. Here's a first lap crash between these guys, Hacks Warrior. Oh my goodness me, that was a huge crash. He right on board, going down towards Ascari, swings around the outside. He gets pushed wide a little bit, but it's still side by side, but the McLaren just stays ahead, and now the Haas is trying to get past as well. Blaze Tim is trying to get past now, going to, down towards Parabolica, and now the Alfa Romeo is on the inside of the McLaren, and Blaze Tim is right behind trying to pick up the pieces as he goes to the inside, and he gets past 2 cars, and that's a brilliant overtake for him, and it's a double overtake down towards turn 1. They will both have DRS, and this is a great battle between the Alfa Romeo and McLaren, even though they lost out to Blaze Tim. The Alfa Romeo is on the outside of the McLaren. Through turn 1 and 2 they go. The Alfa Romeo is on the inside, and he gets past the McLaren, so the McLaren comes out third best, losing 2 positions in that battle. Right on board, down towards Ascari, gets right past with DRS, and that was a very easy overtake for the Williams to try to get past the Ferrari going through Ascari now. Down the straight they go, and it's side by side ahead between the Williams and Racing Point. Who's going to get ahead? Racing Point Formula 1 team or Williams Mercedes Racing down into Parabolica, and it will be the Racing Point. And it looked like a very easy overtake for him. But the Williams goes a little bit wide at Parabolica, which gives him a decent run down towards turn 1 as he's side by side with the Racing Point. There's a bit of contact as they went into each other down towards turn 1, and the Williams is just ahead of the Racing Point. And I'm sure that he thought that move was done, but Yergos did not. He right on board with Ferrari going down towards turn 1, and he sends it down the inside. He's a very late breaker, but he's just a bit too eager. He was a little bit too far back to make a move there, so he stays in 5th place. And he's very keen to get past Samuel to get up into 4th place and maybe have a chance to get up into the podium places as they're side by side going into the chicane. Who's going to brake latest? It's going to be Samuel, as the Ferrari FSR Tictum is very cautious on the brakes as he's braking way earlier than Samuel, so he may have to brake a little bit later if he wants this place from Samuel. Samuel is kind of starting to struggle on those soft compound tires going down towards the Ascari. He will have DRS, and I'm sure that he will fly past as he has DRS. So seeing Rich Mixon overtake as well. And yes, that looks like a very easy overtake, but is it though? Because he's really coming back at him, and there's contact, and he's off the track, and that is not what he would have wanted, and that is very unfortunate for him as he came out second best and lost another place. Down towards turn 1, Alfie trying to get past the Williams, and it's side by side into turn 1, and that looked like a very easy overtake, but is it? As Samuel drives it down the inside, and Samuel's not allowing him to get past, and Alfie is really trying to get past Samuel now as there's almost contact between the Williams and the Haas car as they're side by side through turn 3. And this is a great battle between the two teams as there's contact. There's more contact, front tire to rear tire. He could barely fit a piece of paper between these two drivers. Now coming into the Lesmos, he's very early on the brakes. You don't want to go for a move there, and he waits behind a little bit longer. And that was probably smart because it would have ended up in a crash most likely. But he will have DRS, and that's patience for you as he will go through Ascari, and he's not closing up very much as I thought, but he will still go for the overtake. Down the inside he goes, but he comes out second best, and he even got a penalty for cutting the corner. So that's not what he would have wanted, and now the Ferrari is getting past both of them, and he's side by side. FSR Tictum, I think it is. Yes, it is. He's going around the outside at Parabolica. This is a great battle. He already got Alfie, but he now wants Samuel. Now onto the straight. He will have DRS going into turn 1 as the battle should continue as he is weaving all around trying to get past Samuel, as Samuel's really not giving him any room. Down towards turn 1, he's going to go for an overtake move. Down the inside he goes, and that's a decently good move from him, but he will have to come out second best to Samuel because Samuel's doing a great job defending, and the Haas gets out of shape on the first 2 corners, and now he's dropped down 2 places, one to the Alfa Romeo and one to his teammate Blaze Tim 12 as well. Down into the chicane now. Blaze Tim 12 is just behind the Alfa Romeo now, and now the Ferrari is going to be trying to get past Samuel now, going through the Lesmos now, trying to get past. He's really starting to close up, and he will probably, and yes, he will have DRSs. Samuel makes a mistake there, and he's going to go to the right hand side. There's penalties being dealt out behind as he flies past Samuel and is up into the podium places. The two Haas's are going side by side down towards turn 1. Who's going to get ahead of this battle? It's still side by side through turn 2, but in the end, it's going to be Alfie who gets ahead of Blaze Tim 12. As we have yellow flags behind, and that's Racing Point off. And he's gone off going down the straight towards Parabolica. And so that's why the yellow flags were called out, but quickly he gets back running. Right on board with the Williams going down towards Parabolica. He's going to go to the left-hand side around the outside, and that looked like a very easy overtake for him. Going out of Parabolica now. Will he be able to get a good exit to get this place back? I don't think he will, and no. He is a little bit too far back, or is he? Because he's got DRS, and he's really starting to close up now. He's got DRS, slipstream. Rich makes an overtake as well. Down towards turn 1, he goes to the right-hand side, into the braking zone. DRS snapshot, and he's trying to get past, and this is a great battle between Samuel and the Racing Point. And it's side by side, and there's contact. There's a lot of contact between the driver's tires there as the Racing Point gets ahead of Samuel. And that was a great overtake, but Samuel's really not allowing him any room as Samuel's going around the outside. Well, trying to go around the outside, but he bounces over the curbs and gets out of shape, and he's going through the Lesmos now as Samuel is right behind, and there's contact, and he's been spun around, and he's hit the barrier. He's hit both barriers, and he's spin around, and he's going to hit the second barrier, or the third barrier that he's hit. And he has, that has not gone well as he's trying to get that place back, but it ended up into the barriers. But he's lucky to still be in this race without any damage, so very lucky for him. You run on board with the Ferrari. Oh, and there's a mistake, and that's almost a crash between the Ferrari and Red Bull, but luckily it wasn't. And the Ferrari gets past the Red Bull, and now the Haas is trying to get past the Red Bull as well. Go to Orange Lion, really struggling on those hard compound tires. So you already know that Alfie's going to try to be pouncing very soon. Well, as soon as he can humanly possible, and there's contact. And Coda Orange Lion's been pushed off the track, and he's gone off the track. And that's around the outside goes Alfie. But into Ascari, there's been contact, and he's been booted off the track. Down towards Parabolica. And he's through past the Red Bull. That looked like a very easy overtake for him. Oh, there's been a crash, and it's Alfie. And that's a huge crash for him. And there is debris spewing across the track and all along the side of the track as well. Now there's a virtual safety car to try to get that car. But that's a huge crash for Alfie. Right on board, and he's going to try to go past the Haas, try to get past the Ferrari, and that looks like a very easy overtake for him. Can the Ferrari fight back? No. Down towards turn 1. He's going to go to the inside, and he gets that move done. Renault Gaming gets past the McLaren now. Down towards turn 1. They plunge, and the McLaren's gotten past the Racing Point. Once again, there's been a crash, and he spins out, and that's a huge crash, and it is a safety car. That is a definitely safety car, and it is a safety car as there's debris spewing across the track as that was a 3-car collision between the two McLarens and the Racing Point. The Racing Point is coming out third best as that was a huge crash for him, and that is not what you would have wanted, and that was not his fault. Let's see the replay. Going towards Parabolica, he went for a move to the inside. There was even contact before they even got to Parabolica. Into Parabolica, the McLaren goes a bit wide on the exit, which allows the Racing Point to get right up alongside, and he actually gets pushed onto the grass. And going down towards turn 1, he will have DRS and slipstream as well. So that's why he pulled to the left, and the McLaren just swings over and hits him. The safety car is in this lap, going through Parabolica, and Jack is backing up the pack right now. The safety car has peeled into the pits. The safety car's gone. The light's gone green, and Jack is away, and it's a good start for him. Good start for people behind. The AlphaTauri did not get a great start. The McLaren got a great start, and it's 4 wide there. For a second, it was 4 wide. Now it's 3 wide. Down towards turn 1, and there's a crash, and it's the Haas car, and he's gone straight on into turn 1, and that's probably damage for him as well. As this is a crazy restart, as there's contact between the Racing Point and the Red Bull of Kota Orange Lion, as there's contact between him and the Racing Point. Right there now, side by side between the Haas's. And this is a great battle between Kota Orange Lion and the Racing Point. Just gets pushed straight off the track. And in doing so, possibly gets a penalty as it's yellow flags behind, and that's maybe another car off as we go through the Lesmos now. Down towards Ascari, they will, there's no DRS as of right now. And because 3 laps after the safety car goes in, or 3 laps after the start. As he's going to go to the inside, and that's going to be a great move if he can pull it off. And he does, and he gets past the Ferrari in such a way. He's right on board, going down towards Parabolica, and he's gonna try to go around the outside of the Alfa Romeo, which he does go around the outside. It was a great battle there. Going down towards turn 1, we have yellow flags. They're all weaving around, trying to make up places as he's trying to find a way past and trying to find that slipstream. And he's got it now. Is he going to go for a move down towards turn 1? No, he's just a bit too far back. But still, that was a great battle going through Parabolica. Oh, and there's a car going straight across the track. Down towards turn 1, it's side by side behind, between the Racing Point and I think that was the Haas, and down towards turn 1, and there's contact, and there's multiple cars off at turn 1, and people are bouncing over the curbs, and there's another crash, and that was the Williams that was spun around the Alfa Romeo that was off the track, and the Racing Point that was hit from behind, and the Ferrari that was included in that crash, and it was not his fault. And we have another yellow flag and another semi-big crash, another multi-collision, I should say, going down towards turn 1. And what a race this is. We watched the replay going down towards turn 1 of the Ferrari, and he had nothing to do with it, and he just gets collected, and there was nothing that he could have done, and in doing so, he got a 5-second time penalty, but it wasn't his fault. He was just avoiding the carnage in front. Going through the Lesmos, and he's very slow. And now the Racing Point of Renault Gaming gets past FSR Tictum. Looks like a pretty easy overtake going down through Ascari now. And we have yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. And that is why, because the Williams has gone off and he's spun on the straight, it looks like. And he has hit the barrier. Luckily, he doesn't have any damage. It doesn't look like for right now, but only time will tell if he goes into the pit lane. As we have a battle just in front, the Racing Point and the Ferrari, down towards turn 1. And there's contact, and that's damage for the Racing Point as he hit the back of the Ferrari. Oh no, and we have another contact collision there as he's trying to get past the Ferrari. Through Parabolica now. Jack takes victory in Italy. Renault Gaming comes second. FSR Tictum gets penalty, so he drops behind the Racing Point. Dennis in 5th place. And then comes Mitchell in the Alfa Romeo, then Yaragos in 7th place. And it was a horror show for him. 5 DNFs in Italy. What a race. But among the carnage, it's this man, Jack, in the Renault, that takes the top step of the podium. He takes victory in Italy. As he walks out on the podium, he can see the fans and the trophy. He wins in Monza. I mean, what a race that was. So many collisions, so many crashes, so many virtual and real safety cars. Jack wins from Renault Gaming in the BWT Racing Point. FSR Tictum in the Ferrari comes fourth, then Dennis, then the Alfa Romeo, then Yaragos, who spun out of a podium position.